good evening and welcome once again to our midweek Bible study. We've been focusing on what happens when revival comes to our church. And we're looking now this week at the very last thing that happens when revival comes. By the way, most of this comes out of the thinking of Jonathan Edwards, who, when people began to criticize the First Great Awakening, and yes, the criticism came from churches. Uh, Jonathan Edwards wrote his distinguishing marks of a work of God in response to that, to say, yes, there are some things that are indifferent. They may or may not happen, but there are definitely five things that happen when the revival happens. And the last is this, that there is an increased love for there's an increased love for uh, one another, or excuse me, an increased love for God that is revealed with one another. That is, our relationship with God is primarily a love relationship with Him. We are called to love the Lord our God with all our heart and all our soul and all our mind and all our strength. That is, it is primarily, do we, Jesus asked Peter, do you love me? And if you love me, keep my commandments. So it is primarily a love relationship that we have with Christ and with God, and then that carries over into our love for one for another. John writes in his letter, his first letter, how can you say you love God whom you have not seen when you cannot love your brother who you do see? If you love God, you're going to love your brothers and sisters in Christ. In fact, that's exactly what Jesus said. By this, all men will know that you're my disciples, by your love one for another. A new commandment I give you, that you love one another as I have loved you, so you also should love one another. And so, if we are going to see revival, and then it is going to produce a greater love, a greater affection that we